a cosmic perspective. I'm going to tell you something that Phil and I live and breathe. Some people in the public have read enough to feel it as well, but not enough people. But there's a twist at the end. Bear with me. There's a point to this, okay? This is the number 1. 10 to the 0. But you're all geeks. You know what that is. 10 to the 0 is 1. If you spelled it out, it would be O-N-E, 1. This is not an unfamiliar number. Up by a factor of 1,000, you get the number 1,000. Metric prefix, kilo. Kilo. By the way, drug dealers were metric long before America was, all right? Because, so, people lament that, but we're there. We're basically there. By the way, our money is metric. Our car engine displacement is metric. Our Pepsi is metric. You don't buy a quart of soda. You buy liters. So we're basically slowly becoming metric, even though people are some are kicking and screaming in the process. We know 1,000. The population of most cities is represented in thousands. And, okay, fine. Up by another factor of 1,000, get 1,000,000. 10 to the 6. Mega. Mega used to mean something in computer worlds. Now we're up to, yeah, this now, if you had megabytes, go home, you know. New York City has 8 million people living in it. That's all my neighbors there. It's millions. Millions. There are more millionaires now than ever before in America. Go up by another factor of 1,000, you get a number made famous by Carl Sagan. And I'll tell you why that's a famous number, because if you put your chin out, everybody put your chin out. And on 3, say this word with me, with your chin out. Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Billion. See, isn't that beautiful? It's a beautiful word. Giga. There's 6 billion people in the world. By the way, there's about 6,000 astrophysicists. So you divide those two numbers, we're actually 1 in a million. Just in case you're wondering. I'm just letting you know. So if you ever are in the same room with an astrophysicist, that's your chance to ask the questions, okay? So billions. Bill Gates, there's a Bill Gates wealth clock on the internet linked to his Microsoft stock shareholdings, and it fluctuates by billions of dollars per day, but it's up around 40 to 50 billion. McDonald's has sold 100 billion hamburgers. Anyone here eat at McDonald's? Okay, the rest of you are just lying, okay? They've sold 100 billion hamburgers. Tell you how big that is? I did the math. Take the 100 billion hamburgers, line them side to side. Will it cross America? Yes, it will. Will it cross the Pacific? Yes, it will. Cross Asia? Yes, it will. Europe, the Atlantic, can come right back here to Las Vegas? Yes, it will. You'll have some left over after you've gone around the world laying your 100 billion hamburgers end to end. What will you do the rest of them? You'll go around the world another 51 times. You still have some left over. What do you do with those? You're bored with going around the world, so now you stack them. How high a stack can you make after you've been around the world 52 times? You can make a stack high enough to reach the moon and back. And only then would you have used your 100 billion hamburgers. This is terrifying news to cows. Okay. Up by another factor of 1,000. A trillion. A trillion. You can actually count to 1 billion. Anyone here 31 years old in the room? 31. This year you will live your 1,000,000th second. I celebrated my 1,000,000th second, okay, with champagne. Because that's much more significant than just how many times Earth goes around the sun. That's just so provincial, you know. Pluto hasn't been around once since it was discovered, right? So a year is just arbitrary for the planet. But seconds, you get 31, you get 1 billion seconds. So if 31 years you count to 1 billion, that means you can never count to 1 trillion. It would take you 31,000 years to count your trillion, so do not try that. So a trillion, trillion seconds ago, we were in caves. Fine, let's go up by another factor of 1,000. Quadrillion, one of my favorite numbers, actually 100 quadrillion, is the estimated number of sounds and words ever uttered by all humans who have ever lived. Okay, I knew you would pause on that one, fine. Okay? Go up by another factor of 1,000. Quintillion. We were billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion. That's about the number of grains of sand on an average beach. And I did the math, and it's even the sand that comes home in your groin, you know, in your bathing suit. Add all that up, it's in that number. We go up by another factor of 1,000, we get to sextillion. 1,000 times bigger than the number of grains of sand on an average beach, itself 1,000 times bigger than the number of sounds and words ever uttered by all humans who have ever lived, 1,000 times bigger than all the McDonald's hamburgers, sextillion. That is the estimated number of stars in the universe. I heard someone say God. I heard someone say God. God. Stars in the universe. It's staggering. Are we alone? Probably not. Unless you're inexcusably egocentric, especially since you look at what we're made of. If we were made of some isotope of bismuth, you'd have an argument that maybe we were rare in the cosmos. But we're not, okay? Let's look at the universe. The number one ingredient in the universe is hydrogen, helium, in order, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, and the most famous element of them all, other. Okay, now, life on Earth. Number one ingredient in life on Earth. Our biggest molecule is water. H2O. What's in water? Hydrogen. Number one element. Helium, by the way, is chemically inert. We don't have it. Okay? You can inhale it and sound like Mickey Mouse. That's about it. Okay. Next in life, oxygen. Next, carbon. We are carbon-based life. Next, nitrogen. Next, all together, class? Other. There we go. We are one for one the ingredients of the universe. Not only that, carbon is so chemically fertile, more molecules can be constructed with the carbon atom than all other molecules combined. So it's not surprising that the most complex chemistry we know, called life, is based on it. And all these science fiction stories, well, how about silicon is right below carbon on the periodic table, so why can't we make silicon-based life? Carbon is 5 times more abundant in the universe than silicon. You don't have to invoke it in order to say there's life out there in the universe, using Earth as some kind of template. The point of all this is, we had a space show in New York that zoomed out from Earth. Earth got little, solar system got little, Milky Way got little. You lost it. You learned that we're part of the universe. The ingredients are in us. We're in the universe, and we're just all out there in space. The next week after we opened, I got a letter from a professor of psychology at the University of Pennsylvania. Okay? What did he ask me? I'll read it to you. I'm an assistant professor of social cultural psychology at UPenn. I'm writing to discuss the possibility of a research project in collaboration. My research focuses on the psychological experiences associated with feelings of insignificance. It's a bummer of a job there, man. Okay? I recently saw the space show at the planetarium, and needless to say, it was the most dramatic elicitor of feelings of smallness and insignificance that I have yet encountered. I submit to you, he has an issue with the universe because he came into the room with a needlessly and unjustifiably large ego to begin with. If he understood how we fit into the cosmos, you can actually celebrate that fact. That it's the human mind that came up with the laws of physics that gives us an understanding of it. You can celebrate that fact. You can celebrate the fact that my molecules are up there and that we all came from stars. There's a sense of participation and belonging that is almost spiritual in the feelings it elicits, that if you go in saying, you're the top of the heap, well, I'm human and we're the top and we're the best and we're that, it can only depress you. And so, by the way, of course, you learn in biology, 1 centimeter of your lower colon lives and works 100 billion bacteria. So who's really in charge of things when you think about it? Just think that one through. My last 2 slides. In the Bible, there's this phrase, and the meek shall inherit the earth. This is in Psalms. The rest of that goes, and live in a world of peace, actually. So it associates peace with being meek. That stands to reason because meek people don't bomb cities, okay? So there's a correlation to that fact. But I went back to the original Hebrew, and I studied studied enough Hebrew to translate this directly, and they mistranslated. They got it wrong. What it really says is, and the geek shall inherit the earth. Okay. I'll leave you with one slide. The American Physical Society in 1984 had their annual meeting here in Las Vegas. This was the newspaper headline. Physicists in town. Take care. Thank you all. Enjoy the conference. Thank you all.
We hope we will remind you of how grateful we were to hear your words and how much we hope to see you again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.